Live from New Delhi, you're watching DD India Live, India's Voice to the World. I'm Ramesh Ramachandran. Coming up in the next 30 minutes. India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi and his New Zealand counterpart Christopher Luxon hold talks in New Delhi, exchange 6 MOUs ranging from sports to defence cooperation. Prime Minister Modi to inaugurate the Raisina Dialogue, India's flagship annual conference on geopolitics and geoeconomics. US President Donald Trump confirms talks with Russia's President Vladimir Putin on Tuesday to discuss Ukraine's land and power issues. And the US deports 238 alleged members of a Venezuelan gang to El Salvador. Further cementing their warm and friendly ties, India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi held talks with his New Zealand counterpart Christopher Luxon in New Delhi on Monday. The leaders agreed to further strengthen ties in areas of trade and investment, defence and security, maritime cooperation, education and research, science and technology, agri-tech, space, mobility of people and sports. Prime Ministers Modi and Luxon witnessed the exchange of MOUs on sports, horticulture and defence, a letter of intent on forestry and agreements on customs and education. They also exchanged views on strengthening cooperation in the Indo-Pacific. Referring to the Christchurch terror attack and the Mumbai attack, Prime Minister Modi said that terrorism in any form is not acceptable.
आतंकवाद के खिलाफ हम दोनों एक मत है। चाहे 15 मार्च 2019 का क्राइस्ट चर्च आतंकी हमला हो या 26 नवंबर 2008 का मुंबई हमला, आतंकवाद किसी भी रूप में अस्वीकार्य है। आतंकी हमलों के दोषियों के खिलाफ कड़ी कार्रवाई आवश्यक है। आतंकवादी, अलगाववादी और कट्टरपंथी तत्वों के खिलाफ हम मिलकर सहयोग करते रहेंगे। इस संदर्भ में न्यूजीलैंड में कुछ गैर कानूनी तत्वों द्वारा भारत विरोधी गतिविधियों को लेकर हमने अपनी चिंता साझा की। हमें विश्वास है कि इन सभी गैर कानूनी तत्वों के खिलाफ हमें न्यूजीलैंड सरकार का सहयोग आगे भी मिलता रहेगा।
Emphasizing that India believes in the policy of development, not expansionism, Prime Minister Modi said that India and New Zealand support a free, open, secure and prosperous Indo-Pacific.
फ्री, ओपन, सिक्योर और प्रॉस्परस इंडो पैसिफिक का हम दोनों समर्थन करते हैं। हम विकासवाद की नीति में विश्वास रखते हैं, विस्तारवाद में नहीं। इंडो पैसिफिक ओशन इनिशिएटिव से जुड़ने के लिए हम न्यूजीलैंड का स्वागत करते हैं। इंटरनेशनल सोलर अलायंस के बाद CDRI से जुड़ने के लिए भी हम न्यूजीलैंड का अभिनंदन करते हैं।
Following the signing of the MOU, Prime Minister Luxon said that New Zealand needs a stronger presence in India. He announced plans to increase its diplomatic footprint by over 60%. He emphasized the nation's commitment to strengthening the ties between the two countries.
And so to give effect to the various areas of new cooperation, my government has also confirmed that we will need more people on the ground in India. And that is why New Zealand is looking to increase our diplomatic footprint in India by more than 60%, underscoring our commitment to the relationship and our ambition to see it grow even further. And it is also my great pleasure to be able to announce Dr. Samir Saran, President of the Overseas Research Foundation and an organiser of the Raisina dialogue with Dr. Jaishankar, to be the next Prime Minister's Fellow from India. And I look forward to welcoming Dr. Saran to New Zealand and building even stronger engagement between New Zealand and India on critical issues facing the Indo-Pacific. So finally, can I just say again, thank you Prime Minister Modi for hosting me and my delegation so generously and with so much hospitality. We do look forward to broadening and deepening the relationship between our two great countries. And I also, of course, offered to reciprocate Prime Minister Modi's warm and generous hospitality by inviting him to New Zealand.
The Secretary East in India's Ministry of External Affairs, Jaideep Mazumdar, held a news conference in which he spoke about the MOUs inked between India and New Zealand.
They both witnessed the exchange of bilateral documents and MOUs in various fields. One was an MOU on defense cooperation. Another was an authorized economic operator mutual recognition agreement. A third on memorandum of cooperation on horticulture. Fourth was letter of intent on forestry. Fifth was on education cooperation. And the sixth was on as a memorandum on cooperation in sports. The two prime ministers also announced the launch of negotiations between India and New Zealand towards a balanced and mutually beneficial free trade agreement in a time-bound manner.
Earlier in the day, Prime Minister Luxon laid a wreath at Mahatma Gandhi's memorial. Prime Minister Luxon arrived in New Delhi on Sunday on a 5-day visit to India. He is accompanied by a high-level delegation including ministers, officials, business persons, journalists and members of the Indian diaspora. He will call on President Draupadi Murmu at Rashtrapati Bhavan. He will also visit Mumbai, where he will have interactions with Indian industry leaders. Prime Minister Modi will inaugurate the Raisina Dialogue, India's flagship conference on geopolitics and geoeconomics, in a short while from now. The 10th edition of the Raisina Dialogue will be held from 17th to the 19th of March in New Delhi. New Zealand's Prime Minister Christopher Luxon will be the chief guest and deliver the keynote address. Hosted annually by the Observer Research Foundation in collaboration with India's Ministry of External Affairs, the event brings together world leaders, policymakers, diplomats, scholars and business executives to discuss contemporary global challenges. The theme of this year's edition is Kala Chakra, People, Peace and Planet. Over 3,500 delegates from 125 countries will be joining the dialogue in person. Over the years, the Raisina Dialogue has emerged as a key platform shaping India's strategic engagements on the world stage. On the margins of the Raisina Dialogue, India's External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar met Deputy Prime Minister and Foreign Minister of Slovenia, Tanja Fajon. Minister Jaishankar met his Swedish counterpart, Maria M. Steingard, as well. Minister Jaishankar also met with Ghana's Foreign Minister Sam Okudzeto Abelkawa. The leaders explored opportunities to further develop a partnership and South-South cooperation. India's Defence Minister Rajnath Singh held a productive meeting with the visiting US Director of National Intelligence Tulsi Gabbard in New Delhi. Drawing from the joint statement issued after the recent meeting of Prime Minister Narendra Modi with US President Donald Trump, the discussions reaffirmed the growing strength of the India-US bilateral defense partnership. Both leaders emphasized that strategic security remains a vital pillar of the comprehensive global strategic cooperation between the two nations. The two leaders explored avenues for collaboration in cutting-edge defense, innovation and niche technologies, reflecting their shared commitment to advancing mutual strategic interests. Additionally, they addressed key areas such as enhancing interoperability and fostering greater integration of defense industrial supply chains to bolster resilience and innovation.
The tone and the relationship with our new administration under President Trump and Prime Minister Modi was set during Prime Minister Modi's visit to the White House. As you know, they are already good friends. It was a very great opportunity for them to share their joint vision for the U.S.-India partnership and the opportunity for us to continue to strengthen that partnership. So the meetings that I've had here with different Indian government officials and intelligence officials really is set on that foundation of how we can continue to integrate, how we can continue to strengthen our relationship, not only, of course, in my area of intelligence, but we're looking at commerce and trade and defense and education. There's nothing but opportunity that I see here in the U.S.-India partnership.
Defense Minister Rajnath Singh expressed his gratitude to the U.S. Director of National Intelligence for her steadfast goodwill and admiration for Indian culture and heritage, noting that such sentiments further deepen the bonds of friendship between India and the U.S. In other news, India is hosting the India-Europe Business Exchange in New Delhi that aims to expand the bilateral trade opportunities between the two sides. Speaking at the event, Minister of State for Commerce and Industry Jitin Prasad said India-EU ties have a lot of potential and will help greatly in India's vision of becoming a developed nation.
Under the leadership of Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji, the India growth story is for the world to see, and across the world people are seeing India as that long trusted partnership which has great economic capability and the growth and the aspirational India, the market that it has to offer. And we are seeing people from across, from Sweden to various countries of the European Union that are here, from Poland to Slovakia to Latvia to the ones that I've just met. And all have shown great, for India, hope, and they want to collaborate further so that both countries can gain.
India's Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman launched a mobile app for the Prime Minister's internship scheme in New Delhi on Monday. The app seeks to address the challenge of limited computer access by leveraging widespread use of mobile phones, which will offer user-friendly alternatives for applicants. A facilitation center will be established in Kolkata, a collaborative effort between the Ministry of Corporate Affairs and the Confederation of Indian Industry. Speaking on the occasion, the minister spoke about the need for the app and its importance for both industry and youths.
Now, by launching a mobile app, we are making it even more accessible. Whatever be the phone in the hands of these potential interns, they'll have better information in their hands. So today, with this mobile app, I think we've opened even more or made it even more accessible for interns, potential interns to come in. Everyone who's in this room and everyone who's otherwise joining us should take a little bit of initiative in this scheme and also bring in more people for the interns, because the country needs their efforts, their service, and similarly, industry needs better qualified individuals.
India is hosting a quad workshop on pandemic preparedness, with the Minister of State for Health and Family Welfare, Anupriya Patel, inaugurating the workshop in New Delhi on Monday. The three-day workshop brings together Quad partners Australia, Japan and the US, and delegates from 15 countries of the Indo-Pacific to strengthen pandemic responses, enhance resilience and implement the One Health approach for a safer, healthier Indo-Pacific. Addressing the gathering, Minister Patel highlighted India's commitment to strengthening global pandemic preparedness and response efforts.
The United States.
Recognizing this critical imperative, India has consistently remained at the forefront, championing collective action at the national, regional, and global levels. In line with our commitment to global action, India has contributed 10 million US dollar towards the establishment of the pandemic fund, which was specially conceptualized for fighting pandemics. India has further pledged an additional 12 million US dollar to support its sustained functioning. This underscores India's dedication to strengthening global pandemic preparedness and response efforts through collaborative and inclusive financial mechanisms.
Still to come on DD India Live. Russia reiterates its demand that Ukraine be excluded from NATO membership. And North Macedonia declares a 7-day mourning after 59 are killed in a nightclub fire.
Geopolitics and trade deals. Economic challenges amid development. Hard work and the path to prosperity. It's the economy always. Between walkers, money is what money does and says. Supply creates its own demand. Between the bulls pulls and bears tears. When supply chains globalization and India rises to the podium. We'll get you centered with the economic brief at 8 p.m. every Thursday on DD India.
You're watching DD India Live. I'm Ramesh Ramachandran. US President Trump said that he plans to speak to Russian President Vladimir Putin on Tuesday. He termed the forthcoming talks a good chance to end the 3-year-old conflict.
By Tuesday, I'll be speaking to President Putin on Tuesday. And a lot of work's been done over the weekend. We want to see if we can bring that war to an end. Maybe we can, maybe we can't, but I think we have a very good chance.
U.S. envoy Steve Witkoff has returned from what he described as a positive meeting with President Putin in Moscow. Russia has underscored its demand that Ukraine be excluded from NATO membership and maintain a neutral stance in any prospective peace agreement. Its Deputy Foreign Minister Alexander Grushko spoke about the importance of including stringent security guarantees in a peace accord. Grushko detailed that Russia expects these guarantees to ensure Ukraine's neutral status and prevent NATO countries from integrating it into their alliance. The U.S. government has deported over 200 Venezuelans from the United States to a sprawling prison in El Salvador amid legal and human rights concerns. The deportations on Sunday took place despite a U.S. federal judge granting a temporary suspension of the expulsions order. The White House said in a statement that it wasn't defying the court, but at the same time argued that it was perfectly within its rights to ignore the judge's ruling. White House spokesperson Caroline Leavitt defended the deportations, saying that Trump was using his core powers as president and commander-in-chief to defend the American people from an urgent threat. A judge in Washington, D.C. had earlier blocked President Trump's application of the Alien Enemies Act, an 18th century law best known for its use in rounding up U.S. residents of Japanese descent and placing them in internment camps without trial during the Second World War. Trump had sought to use the act's seldom used wartime powers to rapidly deport alleged members of a Venezuelan gang that's been linked to kidnapping, extortion, and contract killings. U.S. President Donald Trump has spoken to reporters on Air Force One during a late flight back to the Washington area from Florida. When asked whether his administration had violated the court order, Trump said he was justified in using the act because he saw the increase in immigration in recent years as similar to a war.
I can tell you this, these were bad people. That was a bad group of, as I say, hombres. That was a bad group. When you look at them and you look at the crimes that they've committed, you take a look. You don't get any tougher, you don't get worse than that. You understand that. So. but you'd have to ask the lawyers. This is a time of war because Biden allowed millions of people, many of them criminals, many of them at the highest level. They emptied jails out. Other nations emptied their jails into the United States. That's an invasion. And these are criminals, many, many criminals. Murderers, drug dealers at the highest level, drug lords, people from mental institutions. That's an invasion. They invaded our country. So this isn't, in that sense, this is war.
Besides talking about his talks with Putin and deportation of Venezuelans, Trump also spoke about his stand on reciprocal tariffs, confirming that reciprocal tariffs, including duties on automobiles, will be imposed starting the 2nd of April. He also confirmed that these reciprocal tariffs will apply to both friends and foes of the U.S.
I have no intention of it, no. April 2nd is a liberating day for our country. We're going to be getting back some of the wealth that very, very foolish presidents gave away because they had no clue what they were doing. And April 2nd, I would have made it April 1st, but you know what April 1st is? April Fool's Day. I figured, I don't like doing it, but I made it April 2nd. But it's a liberation day for our country because we're going to be getting back a lot of the wealth that we so foolishly gave up to other countries, including friend and foe.
On steel and aluminium tariffs, Trump says that he will not create exemptions. Last month, Trump implemented a flat 25% tariff on steel and aluminium imports as part of his strategy to support U.S. industries and escalate a trade war. People injured in a fire in a North Macedonia nightclub that left at least 59 dead were brought to Bulgaria for treatment on Sunday. About 148 people were hospitalized in the capital Skopje, Kokani and in surrounding towns, as well as being taken for neighboring countries for treatment. Authorities have arrested about 20 people in connection with the fire in the town, including government officials and a manager of the Pulse nightclub. The public prosecutor said authorities had also arrested members of the band and the son of the club's owner. The death toll currently stands at 59. North Macedonia's Prime Minister has said that an investigation into the nightclub fire had found the club's license was not legitimate. He said the document had been issued illegally by officials from the Economy Ministry and said there were many questions to be answered, promising accountability at all levels.
We have information that at the time of the disaster, the nightclub had a falsified license issued in March 2024 for a bribe. The document was issued illegally with the legal stamp of the Economy Minister and signed by the then officials of the same ministry. There are many questions there that the investigation should answer.
Sharjah's fire paleo landscape has unveiled evidence of human resilience and adaptation spanning more than 200,000 years. With continuous habitation even during extreme climatic shifts, Faya, which highlights ancient trade connection between the Arabian Peninsula and India, stands as a testament to humanity's survival and evolution in harsh environment. Vinod Kumar and Yash Chaturvedi report.
In a significant archaeological breakthrough, Sharjah's fire paleo landscape, nominated for UNESCO World Heritage status, has revealed evidence of human resilience and adaptation spanning over 200,000 years. This ancient site not only sheds light on early human migration, but also serves as a vital link in trade networks between Arabia and India. Spanning over 29,000 hectares, the fire range is a 20-kilometer limestone ridge located between Rub al Khali Desert and Daid Madam Plain. Excavations led by Dr. Knut Bretzke of German Archaeological Mission have uncovered 18 phases of human habitation dating back to the early Middle Paleolithic period.
People came first here in a period when it was more rainy, more wet. So we have flowing rivers at that time. Sometimes we even talk about the Green Arabia phase, because it was so wet that probably entire Arabian Peninsula was turned green. That means covered with vegetation. We have running rivers at that time, year-round running rivers, when modern humans, Homo sapiens like you and me, first arrived in the region.
The site is renowned for its continuous archaeological record, showcasing ancient stone tools, burial practices and artifacts, including Indian cooking pots and coins bearing the image of Shiva. These discoveries highlight fire's role in connecting the ancient civilizations of Mesopotamia, the Indus Valley and Arabia.
Link it with the Mesopotamia, it's linked with the India, it's linked with different regions. Because in the Iron Age start domesticated the animal, start the route of the caravan, start the people move more, and you have more goods arrive to this area, not only by the sea.
With its unique geological formations and evidence of human adaptation during extreme climate phases, Fire Paleo landscape stands as a testament to humanity's enduring survival and cultural exchange across continents. Yash Chaturvedi with Vinod Kumar for DD India.
And that's all for this edition of DD India Live. Let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. You can get the latest news and updates on the DD India mobile app. It's available on both Android and iOS platforms. Scan the QR code now on your screen to download it. We'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Ramesh Ramachandran from all of us here in New Delhi. Thanks for watching DD India Live.